Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes kicked off their 2024 season last Thursday with the well-fought victory over North Dakota State, marking their first win since October of last year. Buffalo star quarterback Shedeur Sanders played an astonishing game, throwing for 445 yards with 4 touchdowns and only 1 interception, giving him a total QBR of 83.3 and a completion percentage of 76.5 to start his season. As for his running mate, star receiver Travis Hunter played the game of his life Thursday night, putting his sheer dominance and skill onto display. Hunter offensively snagged 7 receptions for 132 yards with 3 touchdowns, the most notable being the third one as he made a tough catch in the front left corner of the end zone, giving Colorado a 30-20 lead with 7:57 left in the fourth. Here's what head coach Deion Sanders said after the game regarding his team's performance and what's to come moving forward.
You ever felt like you won, but you didn't win? It's almost like we had more points than they did. Giving up the last touchdown on the run, that bothered me because we pride ourselves on going to get the quarterback, and we have a multitude of young men that can go get the quarterback, and we didn't get that done.
So the question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how impressive were the Colorado Buffaloes last Thursday? Well, I mean, if I had to be honest with you, I'd say about like a 6. I wouldn't say anything higher than a 6, only because I expected them to win. Honestly, I expected them to win a lot better than that. I expected them to go out there and dominate from start to finish. They were trailing at the half, and whenever they got back the second half, they performed a lot better than they did in the first half. But either way, I expected them to play a lot better than what they did. And especially with their tough schedule moving forward, they need to play better than that. I heard that North Dakota State is a powerhouse in their division. I get that, but they're no like real deal. And the Colorado Buffaloes, especially with the hype behind them, especially with them being one of the biggest attractions in college football, all the media going to see Shedeur, Shiloh, Coach Prime, all that, Travis Hunter. You got to understand, they have a lot of hype. They have a lot of buildup around their program, around their name. So because of that, their expectations are higher. So a 6 is all I can really give them because they didn't perform any better than what I thought. If anything, they performed worse than what I thought. Now let me tell you this. Their offense was definitely better than it was last year. Last year, they had not really that great of an offense, especially as the offensive coordinator, Sean Lewis. He wasn't the best offensive coordinator for that job, especially for that program, dealing with, the hype, like I said, Deion, Shedeur, Travis, all that. So I don't think he was the best fit for Colorado at that moment. So Deion got him out of there. He is somewhere else, and now Deion picked up a new offensive coordinator. And I feel like the offense was a lot better than it was last year. So that's an improvement, okay? The Colorado Buffaloes have to improve. If they can't improve, then they're not going to do anything in college football. They're not going to make a mark. They're not going to make a statement, nothing like that. Especially with the hype around them, like I keep saying, the expectations are higher. So they have to back up these expectations. They have to at least meet the expectations. And so when you beat a team narrowly, this type of team, a team that you're expected to beat, it shouldn't have been like a back and forth. It shouldn't have been a fight. It should have been one-sided. And it wasn't one-sided. And I get, yes, it's the first game of the season. They have to, get in a rhythm. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they are the Colorado Buffaloes. Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are going to be 2 of the biggest prospects. They're going to be 2 of the biggest stars going into the draft whenever they get drafted. Okay? They have to perform at a high level. They have to. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, moving forward with their schedule, okay? So we're going to look at that right quick. So I'll put that up on the screen for you. So their schedule goes like this, okay? They beat North Dakota State 31-26. Then on September 7th, they played Nebraska. They handled Nebraska last year, so I expect them to handle Nebraska again. Nebraska's never really a threat, so that's another question that I would put up there. Is Nebraska a threat to Colorado? And I would say no, because they handled them last year. And I feel like they're going to do it again. And I feel like Nebraska has never really been a threat. They've never really been one of those top teams in recent history. So I would have to say no, they're not a threat. So I feel like Colorado should go into Nebraska and handle their business, right? And then they have Colorado State. I think they're going to handle Colorado State. It was a well-fought game last year in the middle of the season, and they ended up winning that game narrowly, just like they did last Thursday against North Dakota State. But I would just say that they're going to win this game as well. I think that they've gotten better, so I believe that they're going to handle Colorado State yet again. Now when it comes to Baylor, that's a challenge. That's going to be their first challenge of the season. Okay, this game is going to be played on September 21st. Now, my problem is that Baylor has always been a really good team. They've always been a really good team, well coached. They've always gotten good players. A lot of those players go to the NFL, so I get it. I don't expect them to win this game, right? I don't expect them to win this game, so I think that's going to be their first loss. If they won, I wouldn't be surprised, only because Baylor's not really talked about as of right now. They're not ranked. They were a few years ago, but not now. So if they won, I wouldn't be shocked, but I would not put it past Baylor. And I think that Baylor's going to come out with a slight edge and a win. Now they play UCF. I think that's also going to be a well-fought game, and I think that UCF is going to take that win as well. I think they're going to come out there and win. I don't think the Buffaloes are prepared for that yet, so I think that that's going to be another tough challenge for them. Then on October 12th, they have to play Kansas State. They're going to get absolutely obliterated by Kansas State. Mark my words, Kansas State will mop them. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. I mean, you can't expect Colorado to go in there and beat Kansas State. You just can't. You can't. Then Arizona. I mean, Arizona's probably going to handle their business. Beat Colorado, obviously. Then Cincinnati. That's going to be another well-fought game. I think that Colorado can, in fact, beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati is not what they used to be, especially for the Desmond Ridder days. And they're just not that. They're not that team anymore. They're not. Cincinnati hasn't been that team in 3 or 4 years. So if I had to say if Colorado or Cincinnati is going to win, I'd say Colorado comes out with the edge on this one. Then Texas Tech, I think Colorado's got that. I think they're going to handle their business once again. Utah, they're going to get absolutely killed by Utah. Utah is going to murder them. I'm sorry. Then Kansas, they're going to get murdered by Kansas and then murdered by Oklahoma State. I don't know what else to say. I mean, so I'd say like 5-6 wins at the most that they would get this season, 5 or 6. I mean, that's not much, but it's a lot. I mean, I would say it's a tad bit of improvement, okay? Because I think their offense got better. I think Shedeur Sanders is improving. I think he's getting better as a passer. I think his vision is getting better. Travis Hunter's always going to be Travis Hunter, okay? He's electrifying. Did you see that pass? And did you see that catch? Like I said, the corner of the end zone. Did you see that? That was one of the toughest catches I've ever seen in my life. I mean, Travis Hunter is a stud. This dude is absolutely incredible. All-world type player, okay? You got to give him love and credit. Deion Sanders is going to be Deion, okay? A lot of people don't give Jimmy Horn Jr. any credit. He's the fastest guy on that team, okay? He's the fastest guy on Colorado. He was explosive on Thursday night. He will be explosive this year, and he's going to be an X factor throughout this entire season. If they can get Jimmy Horn Jr. the ball, and if he gets running, It's going to be really hard to take him down. It's going to be really hard to catch him. So I think that Jimmy Horn Jr. is actually going to be an X factor this season. So I would like to see them use him a lot more, even though they're going to use Travis Hunter a lot. He's playing on both sides of the ball, so it's going to be a little bit harder for him to be playing at his best at all times, especially because he's going to be playing both sides and get tired eventually. So they're going to have to trust other receivers, right? So they have other receivers that they got in the offseason, and I get that. Most of their players aren't the same as last season. But they did make changes on the coaching staff, the offensive line, the defensive line. They changed a lot. So in a totality, I think their offense got better, but I don't know if their defense got better. Actually, I think their defense got worse because, last year, their defense was really what was holding them. The defense is really what was making it like them somewhat like in the game. Because if it wasn't for their defense, they would have lost by 80 points every game because their offense was not doing anything. Okay? You can't expect to win a game in college football. This isn't the NFL. This is college football. It's an offense type of league. Okay? The NCAA football is all about offense. And when you're talking about the NFL, it's more defense because defense wins championships, especially in the NFL. Because the NFL, everyone is at the highest level. So it's going to be a lot harder to score. So it's whoever can stop the other team. As opposed to in college football, it's really about who can score the most because offense is so great in college football. And defense is so mediocre. Defense has always been mediocre in college football. So when you're talking about college football and you're talking about Colorado, their defense last season, what was really making them in the games every night. And so when you're talking about this season, it looks like as if it flipped. It's like Colorado's offense got better and their defense got worse. They only got 1 or 2 sacks the other night, so you got to put that into perspective. They were getting a lot of sacks last season, and on top of that, they were getting to the quarterback. They were getting a lot of interceptions. They were stopping the opposing teams from scoring as much as they could, okay, potentially, because a lot of the teams they played last year could score a lot, okay? They were high-level teams, and they made them, not perform as well as they could possibly perform. Yes, there were some nights where they got absolutely cooked. The defense couldn't do anything, and I get that. But in a totality, in the whole overall season, the Colorado Buffaloes defense performed way better than it has in this last game to start the season. So I'm hoping that the defense will get some adjustments, get a little bit better going into this next game against Nebraska. And hopefully they do the same against Colorado State because they're going to need these 2 wins. I hope and I expect that Colorado is going to go in there and win both of those games moving forward. And like I said, then when it gets to Baylor and then on, they're really only going to win like 1 or 2, maybe 3 more games after that. I don't expect them to win much more because they have a really, really tough schedule. And I don't think that this program with this staff, with these players they're not built around each other yet. They don't have enough chemistry yet to really put on some shows against real high-level competition. I don't think they can make it a dogfight night in and night out with all of these top-ranked teams in this year, especially with their schedule. I just don't see it happening. They might make a bowl game potentially. I just don't think that it's going to be it's possible. It's possible. I just don't think that it's going to be something something you should expect. I don't think it's something that you should expect. I think that you should expect them to get 4 or 5, maybe 6 wins. And if they get into a bowl game, then that's great. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. But we'll see moving forward. I will obviously make more videos about Colorado. So we're going to see very soon how well they can perform. And I will give you my reactions to each one of the games and tell y'all my predictions for it in a YouTube short, whatever. And so I'm going to get that to you. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daniel Saul Show. Make sure you go like, turn on post notifications on as always, and comment. Let me know what you think about this video. And if you want to see more greatness and more clips from this show, make sure you go subscribe to my channel, because I will be back with more videos on football, basketball, and boxing very soon. Peace out, y'all.